This secret admirer watches you like a hawk with this Knight of Swords energy, and I'm hearing you're the loveliest thing that I have seen in quite some time. So you have definitely captivated this person. You've captured their attention. You have mesmerized them. This person is thinking very naughty thoughts about you, very spicy thoughts, very deep thoughts. This is somebody that it feels like doesn't just want to exist in that realm of like a crush or a secret admirer. They want to get down to the business of exploring these thoughts and fantasies in real time. This is somebody, though, that is trying to be very smart as far as how they approach you, because as much as there is like this enticement or this deep sense of being very attracted to you physically, there's also a sense of like, I think I would be happier in this situation if it were possible to have something more than just a fling. And so this may be somebody at this particular point in time that is having to kind of exercise some discernment or self-restraint within themselves so that they don't say the right thing, so they don't like come on too strong and things move too quickly between the two of you, and it's just kind of like a temporary high, a temporary experience. This is somebody that feels like if they were to kiss you, nobody else's kiss would ever do after that. If they were to be intimate with you, they would never be able to have that same kind of connection or satisfaction with another person again. This is somebody that almost feels like to get to know you on a deep personal level, I think it would change my whole ideas about love and partnership and connection. And so with that kind of instinct or that inclination that they have about what is possible with you, this is somebody that is trying to take a strategic or a methodical approach forward with the hopes that they can kind of like simmer down and temper down some of that like raw passion that they feel towards you, and allow enough time or kind of like a method of approach to unfold where there's the opportunity to kind of get to know one another on a little bit of a deeper level, utilize time to your benefit and to your advantage to create more of like a solid foundation so that when finally there's the opportunity to kind of unleash all that passion, to step forth into that realm of exploration, that there is something to fall back on between the two of you. So that it's not just like a fun weekend. It's not just, like a wild night with one another, but that it's something that you can have developed sort of an understanding, mutual respect, trust, mutual interests in other ways, kind of shared experiences in other ways, so that the kind of sexual component of this connection is just the icing on the cake. Yeah, we got the Nine of Pentacles. So this person feels that you are a fiercely independent person, and that really turns them on. This is something that they have been searching for, someone like you. They've not ever found somebody like you before. You are exactly what it is that they are looking for. This is something where you have changed this person's whole direction and focus. This might have been somebody that was just like keeping their options open. They were just kind of like casual. They weren't looking for anything serious. They were just looking for flings, temporary experiences, kind of like a player energy. Maybe something where this person could have even been just sort of like, yeah, I'm kind of just gonna keep myself out of the dating game altogether. They kind of dip in and out of these experiences of sort of like, okay, temporary pleasures and satisfactions that run its course, and then they're kind of just like back to focusing on the material, back to focusing on self. There's been nothing really interesting which has captured this person's attention in quite some time. And then you came along and they had to do like a double take. You've stopped them in their tracks. This is somebody, it feels like, that is taking some time to kind of like learn you from many different angles, at least as far as what they're able to perceive from the outside. This is somebody that knows that they have kind of put you on a pedestal, or that there are aspects about you which are so different than what meets the eye, than what they expected. So maybe this is somebody that has had a few interactions with you, and the way that you present versus how you are or how you were with them, that was very different. That caused them to sort of like, oh, okay, So what I was planning to do, what I was planning to say, how things are going to unfold, it looks like there's a twist in this circumstance. It's taken a turn, and not for the worse, but for the better. So you really challenge this person to kind of level up, to not just take that, okay, let's have just like let's have a fling, let's have a surface level interaction. Let's have something very temporary, or even something where this person might have kind of thought you were out of their league, and that could have stopped them for a period of time from doing anything, from saying anything. That this is also something where it's like, I'm not going to give up at that. They're changing some things within themselves, kind of the structure of how they approach this, maybe certain things within themselves, so that they kind of like, the self-esteem is better, their confidence is better, their mindset is better, so that they can approach you with like a viable offer, with something that kind of presents to you something of interest, because they see you as somebody that you have very high standards. You're not going to chase love and affection. You're not going to chase partnership. You're not going to chase people that aren't like putting in a reciprocal effort. They might have learned that the hard way. If they had tried to flirt or be suggestive, or, just kind of leave the door open for you to do all the hard work and the heavy lifting in the situation so far. And that wasn't your response. That wasn't like what you did in this circumstance. That as well has kind of caused them to sort of sit back and change their perspective on things. And rather than that being something which was frustrating, or which caused them to say, oh, just forget it, this is too much effort, too high maintenance, too much work, this person's too extra. This instead is something that has opened up these possibilities within this person of like, okay, so we can have this relationship that is very pleasure-based between the two of us, but there's also the chance to have something very real, have something very substantial. They see you as somebody that to enter into that arena of love and romance, to earn their way in, to becoming a significant part in the life that you have created for yourself and that you are tending very meticulously and very beautifully, that is something that it feels like that's a reward, that's a privilege, that is something that requires work and effort. It requires consistency. It requires something more than just kind of fast talking and showing up looking good and smelling good and doing all the right things and setting the mood and having that kind of like grand experience with one another and then sort of going your separate ways. They see you as somebody that is likely not going to tolerate a situationship. You're not going to tolerate an ambiguous connection. You're not going to tolerate uncertainty. You need proof that somebody is invested in you and working with you and building with you in a long-term sense. They're seeing that kind of the sweetness, that icing on the cake kind of energy, of like the passion and the sexual aspects, that's something that comes further down the line. They see you as somebody at this point in time that like your priorities are on other sorts of things. So maybe you're not actively trying to like go and date people. You're not putting yourself out there. They're not finding you on any dating websites. They're not kind of like seeing you out at the local bar, out at the happy hour, out and about with like 10 different people, at any kind of given time. They are seeing you as somebody that like your priorities are very different than people that they've dated in the past or other people that they've encountered at this particular point in time. And that's really turning them on because they see like, hey, I've got all this attraction towards this person. I'm fascinated by them. I can't take my eyes off of them. But at the same point in time, this might be just the kind of individual that I'm looking to create like a real relationship with, something long term, something where we can have all those spicy, yummy aspects with one another. But then there are also practical aspects with one another where there's a good balance. There's a good ebb and flow between the two. We got the Hermit. Yes, this person has definitely spent a lot of time in introspection. If this is somebody that had tried to approach you at one point in time and it didn't go as planned, their ego definitely took a hit from that. They needed to retreat. They needed to lick their wounds, but they never stopped looking. They never stopped watching. It feels like it's something where they have now kind of transcended that energy of like hurt feelings or a bruised ego. And they are in this energy and have been in this energy for a while of like, oh, you're a very different creature from anyone I have encountered before. You are somebody that is a higher caliber of individual than anybody that I have ever had romance with before, or that has been interested in me before, or that has been kind of like in my environment, in my world, in my reality, where I'm single, you're single, so let's see what's up. So this is somebody, it feels like that they have definitely been putting in some work behind the scenes to kind of fine tune their approach. And again, kind of use that energy of indulgence of just kind of admiring from afar, watching from afar, fantasizing about you, but then they're using that very powerful, creative, sexual energy to infuse kind of like a plan of action. They are actively manifesting like a next opportunity with you, or, kind of turning that energy in on themselves in order to build that self-esteem, build that confidence, strengthen their own energy, strengthen their own aura. So they are able to come towards you very powerfully, very certainly, with the energy of wisdom, of like what hasn't worked before in terms of attempts to approach you, attempts to get your attention, earlier experiences or interactions that you've had with one another, or even things where they've kind of like looked at the idea of approaching you versus how they typically kind of move as far as romance or people that they're interested in. Maybe they're used to people chasing them, or, just kind of breadcrumbing, sort of like playing games. They see you as somebody as well who doesn't want to play games. You're not going to play games with your heart. You're not going to play mind games. You got better things to do than this like cat and mouse game with somebody. You're an individual that they see like you require clarity. You require certainty. You require something of substance, something real. And so this is something that has definitely caused them to sort of rethink a lot of things. And so they're getting ready, it feels like, to emerge from that hermit energy, present like an upgraded version of themselves, a more bold version of themselves, a more serious version of themselves, so that they can kind of meet you on your territory, meet you in that energy that you're comfortable with, especially if this is somebody that like crashed and burned before in terms of their approach with you. It's kind of like, okay, so we're going to have to approach this in a different way. I'm going to have to kind of yield to you to a certain extent and assert myself in a different manner. And it feels like they've been fine-tuning that approach. They've been calculating that. They may even have a moment in time sort of picked out. This will be when I take action. This is when I know that I will see you next. This is a window of opportunity that is almost certain or guaranteed, where I can approach you, or I can hold my ground and wait for you to approach me. Yeah, we also have the Chariot. So it's definitely somebody that doesn't just want to sit in that lurking, secret admirer energy. This is somebody that has started to create and has substantially created like a balanced emperor energy inside of themselves. They're all fired up. They're ready to move towards you. They're ready to go the distance or provide a lot more authenticity than they are used to at this point in their life in general, or has been the case in like efforts to get to know you, or to establish a connection before. This is something where it's like they have to be prepared to kind of like move from the heart space. They have to be prepared to connect on that emotional level. They have to be prepared to kind of like take their time, move at your pace, follow your cues and indicators as far as like when you are sort of giving this person permission to step closer, to tap into those kind of like juicy attraction, sexual vibes, which is definitely something that this person wants to do. They want to get to that place with you, but they see that you are also somebody that you are the type of person that can offer more than that. You have more going for you than just that. And so this person sees you as somebody that it's like, if I play my cards right, if I move in the right way, if I am flexible, if I am teachable, if I am consistent, then this could be an experience that is not just pleasing for the two of us in a temporary sense, but really has the ability to kind of open up a new chapter as far as romance is concerned, connection is concerned. It feels like this person's willing to put in the work to kind of like prove themselves to you, or to take time in order to kind of find a way to sort of fit themselves into your life, or to fit you into their life. This is somebody that's not expecting like immediate results. If they had gotten sort of frustrated before, they've definitely created a lot more patience within themselves. They're willing to go the distance. They're willing to fight for this connection, or, to allow you to kind of open up to them at your own pace and sort of determine the terms and conditions through which the two of you kind of progress forward. And it feels like it's been a while since this person has like put in work like this in the interest of romance. And it's not something that they're doing as kind of like a way to be manipulative. They really do see you as like a high value person. The idea of kind of like the possibilities between the two of you beyond just kind of like having a good time very temporarily, that is something that is noticed by them. That is something that continues to kind of become more and more of the focus as they watch, as they sit within that energy of contemplation, as they fantasize, as they strategize. And so this is someone that feels like that's bringing forth stability that maybe was lacking before within themselves, if they've cultivated that, or if they have, you know, attempted to approach or establish connection before and it was kind of, it didn't feel right, it was off, or their approach was just a little too kind of low vibrational for what you were looking for. This is somebody who has raised that standard within themselves. This is somebody that has kind of muzzled that aspect of them that might have been very eager, that came across as too pushy, or maybe was kind of hoping that you would sort of chase them and you run off somewhere together and something would lead to another thing, and you never know what would happen. Like that kind of an approach, that is something that they have come to learn. It's like, yeah, you're open to romance in that sense, but there's got to be more to it. You're not in a time of your life, or this is not the type of circumstance where that's all that you want. And so this is something it feels like that has helped this person to activate like a more evolved or mature emotional aspect within themselves. So they've kind of just like stepped into this sort of better version of themselves, a more well-rounded version of themselves. You've kind of activated this potential within that it doesn't feel like was necessarily lacking in this person before. It's just they haven't encountered anyone or any circumstance in a while, or maybe kind of the general consensus that they've had, the vibe that they've had, or people that they've been dealing with recently in romance, all they wanted was a fling. All they wanted was something quick. All they wanted were these kind of like, let's just have fun on the temporary surface level, and that's it. Not looking for anything too deep, no strings attached, no labels, no definitions to things. And so this person kind of just got in the motion, got in the expectation. Okay, I guess that's what people want. I guess that's what people are looking for right now. I guess that's kind of what I have to offer. And so this is something where it's kind of like they've met or encountered, or they see within you something that is deeper, the potential to have like a deeper sort of connection, you know, something that can transcend just the temporary experiences, and possibly be the makings of something a lot more long term and a lot more deeply fulfilling and satisfying on many levels. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.